Hello and welcome back to the Hot Action Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kerr, and it is week 8 of the NFL season. What we are about to see, we are about to review what happened last week in our gambling adventure, and we are going to preview what's going to happen next week. We're going to pick every game against the spread, and that's about it. So, with no further ado, let's take a look at what's been happening. We will go to the Pick'em contest. And for the first time all year, we don't have to scroll down very far to get to me. We go down to number 20 of 92, and we see Pick'em Pablo at 59 and 49. That is 10 wins above 500. And I think that's a pretty respectable record this year. That being said, let's go on to last week's record. Take a look at picks. My picks. Week 7. Alright, here we go. Things are looking good. The screen is very green. Last week we started with Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. We took Cincinnati plus 5.5. We said Flak Magic was going to do its thing. And of course, Flak Magic won outright. We didn't need the extra points. The final score was 31-33, Cincinnati Bengals. So that was a dub for your boy. Then Sunday morning, early in the morning, we had the London game. We took the Rams minus 2.5. They would not need 2.5. They would win 35-7. An absolute shellacking for the Jacksonville Jaguars. If I was a London fan, I would be mad that they have declared this team as the London team. I don't know what they did to deserve Jacksonville as a franchise. It's interesting because Jacksonville kind of oscillates between being respectable to just getting like downright incompetence out of their team. I don't know what to think of them going forward. Maybe I'll just treat them as a kind of middling team. I don't know what to think. All right, moving on. We took New England minus 7.5 against Tennessee because, again, Tennessee, I do know what to think of them. They are incompetent. They get rid of Brian Callahan, and things don't appear to have gotten better right away. But, I just don't think that they have they're not prepared, and they don't have a great mass of talented players. Maybe they'll pull it together this week. Who's to say? I don't know. I think the rest of this year might be a disaster for the Titans. Can't really see it any other way. All right, moving on. New Orleans at Chicago. We took Chicago minus 5.5, and most of the game they looked in total control of this. They would win 14-26. And then something I got really wrong. First loss of the week. I took Miami plus 2.5 against Cleveland. Miami couldn't get anything going against Cleveland's defense. They are really good at home. And Cleveland styled on them. Miami, multiple turnover game. Tua looked pretty rough. Hard to say anything good about Miami right now. And the final score was 6-31 for the Browns. So that was well wrong on my end. So you're not going to win them all. Then we took Carolina minus 1.5 against the Jets. The Jets continue to 0-7. Carolina wins 13-6. That's another dub for your boy. Carolina does that on the road. I don't want to say very impressive, but Carolina's already closing in on what I gave them as their win total for the year, so that's a bad bet by me, but, it's hard to predict everything in this NFL. And then this was tough. We took Las Vegas plus 11.5 over Kansas City. And the 11.5 point spread would be the only points Vegas earned against the spread. So they got shut out 0-31. Kansas City wins. And I mentioned when we were doing the betting last week that we picked a lot of away teams. And the away teams covered like crazy. So I feel very justified. I said that it might not be the right way to do things, but I'm glad all of my theses were proven correct. And then we took the Giants plus 6.5 against Denver. And it looked like the Giants were going to win this one outright, but then they really screwed up the final quarter, allowing 33 points to be scored. They'd been shutting out Denver until the final quarter. Then Denver absolutely turned it on into overdrive. Jackson Dart throws a ill-advised pick over the middle, and the rest is history. Giants kicker fails to execute a PAT and gives Denver the chance to win the game with a field goal, which of course they convert. Absolutely brutal for the Big Blue, for the Scatterbo and Dart hive that I'm a part of. But, that's football. We move on. We watched Indianapolis defeat the Chargers 38-24. We said last week we're wondering if Indy is elite, and I think this win seals it. This team is really good. They score over 30 points every week. Their defense is good. The offense is good. They're doing everything right. I can't really poke any holes in what they're up to. It's really crazy to see a team turn around so quick, but I guess that's what happens when you get rid of Anthony Richardson. All right, moving on. We got Washington at Dallas. I took Washington minus 2.5, but Dallas would win this one outright. 22-44. This Dallas offense can really sling the ball. And, Washington did not look very good. Moving on. We took Arizona plus 6.5 at home against Green Bay. The thesis was correct. Green Bay seems to be last year's Kansas City. They get a big line every week, and they don't cover it very often. So, yeah. If we can continue to bet that as things go along, I will. If they keep giving Green Bay these nice juicy lines, I will continue to take advantage. But I think the books might figure this out eventually. Then Sunday Night Football, I took Atlanta plus 2.5, and that wasn't particularly close. San Francisco wins this one 10-20. I keep thinking that San Francisco is going to fall to attrition with all these injuries. Keeps not happening. And, it's tough for me because I deeply believe that gambling is... You can't be good at gambling if you're betting on what you want to happen. And it's hard to differentiate what you want and what you think is happening sometimes. And for me, I want San Francisco to not be 5-2. I want the injuries to be meaningful. I want them to lose games, but they just refuse. They keep winning so much, and I don't know what to do. And I keep thinking that next week is going to be the week that things fall apart for them, but I have to give it up. I have to give it up to San Francisco. The coaching staff is great. They are putting on a coaching masterclass right now. Because certainly, I haven't done the math, but the sheer contract value of the players that are all currently out or out for the year is tremendous. It's got to be half their salary cap at this point. Then we got Tampa Bay at Detroit. I took Tampa Bay plus 4.5, and it felt like there was a chance going into the fourth quarter that Tampa Bay could, put the gas on and backdoor it, but that wasn't to be. They lose 9-24. Detroit covers at home, and Detroit looks great at home. I should not allow myself to forget that this Detroit team is scary on their day, and they play really well in the Dome, and that building gets rocking for them. That's all there is to say about that. And then one I did get right. We took Seattle minus 3.5 over Houston. Both defenses played pretty well in this game, but Seattle was able to, opportunistically hit their shots on offense, and they would win 27-19. Yeah, both defenses looked really good. Both offenses were shaky at times, made some boneheaded errors, but Seattle did manage to do more on the offensive side of the ball, so they would win the game and cover. And altogether, last week we went 10-5, so pretty proud of that. Moving on to Week 8. All right, we got Minnesota at the Chargers on Thursday. I don't know if I believe in either of these teams tremendously, so I'm just going to take the points here. I could imagine this going either way, but I'm just kind of gonna add some weight to one side of the coin and take the points. Yeah, yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Don't have really any real insights there. Moving on, we got Sunday. We don't have any early morning games, which is lovely. I don't really like having to wake up for those, or waking up for those. It feels like a chore. I don't know. On the West Coast, it's not great. But we're starting the morning with Jets at Bengals. The Bengals are 6.5 point favorites at home, and I feel like a crazy person because of Flack Magic, but I feel like taking the Jets. Um, the Bengals defense, doesn't have a lot of talent on it. It played well enough last week to keep the Steelers in check, but they still allowed a lot of points. It's really hard for me to bet on the Jets, though. I'm just gonna hold my nose and take Cincinnati. I don't. Sometimes I just don't know what I'm gonna do until I have to click the button. I have looked at this one for a bit. Okay, moving on. We got Buffalo and Carolina. Carolina's at home. Now this feels like a game that Buffalo could take over and smoke Carolina, but I'll be taking the points. Home dog of 7.5. Carolina's felt scrappy here. Who knows whether this will work out or not, but I'll be taking Carolina. Then we got San Francisco at Houston. San Francisco gets a half point. They're on the road. And again, I don't want to be dumb, but Houston's defense looked really good last week. Playing at home should be a little bit different than playing away at Seattle. I don't think a banged up San Francisco team on the road. I mean, they could beat Houston, but this is basically the pick'em zone, the half point. They don't really do pick'ems anymore, but I'll be taking Houston just because they're at home, more or less. And then we've got a rematch of a game that happened not too long ago. We have New York Giants at Philadelphia. At home, the Giants were able to secure the win, but there's still a 7.5 point spread here, and I'm just going to take the points. Philadelphia might feel like they've got a point to prove that they got to smoke the Giants here, but I feel like the Giants have a pretty good formula for covering. Their defense is really good, and their offense is kind of opportunistic. They pound the rock. Jackson Dart can make plays with his legs. He's not like a world beater in terms of throwing the ball as far as I've seen so far, and he doesn't have a lot of pass catching weapons, but they're making it happen. So I will take the points here. If it was less than a touchdown, I don't know if I would, but the Giants they just won this matchup 3 weeks ago. They didn't need the points, so I guess I'm just going to take the points. Then we got Cleveland going to New England. New England are 6.5 point favorites, and I like betting Cleveland with the points, but I think traveling to New England is going to be tough. This Patriots team is humming right now, and we're going to take the home team. We're taking New England minus 6.5. And we got Chicago at Baltimore. I was reading today that they do not know whether Lamar Jackson will be playing. Either way, I'm taking Chicago with the points. Baltimore's been absolutely terrible. I don't think they should be 6.5 point favorites over anybody right now. Chicago's playing decently. Feels odd, but I will be taking Chicago with the points against Baltimore. I don't know if I trust this Baltimore team to... I certainly don't think they're going to blow anyone out the way their defense has been playing. But they do get Roquan Smith back, I believe. That could be a difference maker, but I don't know. And it's one guy. This defense has been playing terribly. Moving on to the last game of the morning, we got Miami at Atlanta. Atlanta's giving up 7.5 points at home. And again, I think that this Atlanta team can't be trusted on the road, but they can be trusted to be pretty good at home. This Miami team has been absolute garbage. They're horrible to watch. And yeah, traveling around, I will not be betting on the Dolphins here. And okay, moving on. First afternoon game, we got Tampa Bay at New Orleans. I'll be taking Tampa. This is the same. New Orleans at home getting 4.5. I just don't really believe in this New Orleans team. I think Tampa should win this easily. Maybe I'm crazy. But yeah, even without Mike Evans, who that injury was very gruesome and did not like to watch that, I think that the Buccaneers should be able to handle business here. All right, then we got Dallas coming into Denver. Denver's giving up 3.5 points at home. I might feel like a madman, but this Dallas team is absolutely carving up defenses. I know Denver's good. I know it's hard to play in Denver, but I'll be taking Dakota Prescott III over Bo Nix. We're taking Dallas Cowboys. And here's a fun one. We've got Tennessee visiting Indianapolis, and Indianapolis is giving up 14.5 points. Guess what, y'all? Slamming Indy. Indy at home. This Tennessee team has been absolutely diabolical. Indy's been unbelievable. If I don't win this one, so be it. But this one, I could imagine it getting to 21 point win differential, 28 point win differential, shutout, that kind of thing. I don't know what else to say. I feel very strongly that Indianapolis should win. As a veteran NFL bettor, I know that the more you feel like it's a guarantee, the crazier you feel when it eventually comes up the other way, like Tennessee somehow managed to win, whatever. I can't feel this strongly, though, and take the Tennessee side. We're just trying to win more games than we lose. But I feel very strongly about this Indianapolis team, and very strongly about Tennessee. And the books appear to also. So that's about it. All right, and then we have Green Bay visiting Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football. Pittsburgh's getting 3.5 points at home. They are also getting my bet. Just like every week, Green Bay, this line is pretty big for having to go to Pittsburgh on the road. Pittsburgh's got 4 wins. Same as Green Bay. They didn't look great last week on the road in Cincinnati, but I don't know. It just feels like this game's not going to be easy for Green Bay. Pittsburgh's tough. They're hard to beat at home. And moving on, we got Washington at Kansas City on Monday Night Football. Kansas City's laying 10.5, and I don't know what to think here. I think I'm just gonna hold my nose and pick Kansas City. I'm feeling like home field advantage is mattering these days. These bad teams on the road tend to not be very good. If you're a good team, traveling doesn't matter as much, but I'm not getting the vibes from this Washington team that I can trust them very much. Going to Dallas and getting smoked was not good for my confidence in them. So, yeah, try not to be a, prisoner of the moment, but Kansas City absolutely slamming the door closed on the Raiders last week. And, I have Kansas City in this year's Super Bowl, and I believe that after a, less than impressive start, the books are starting to see it my way again. But you never know, because Kansas City being so dominant over the last few years, they're a huge public pick, and that can kind of sway the way the lines are made. So hard to say. I'm believing in KC, though. I'm taking KC minus 10.5. I bet on a lot of big favorites here, but I've taken some points here and there. We'll see how it all goes when I see you guys next Wednesday. That's been the Hot Action Podcast for the week. Hit like and subscribe. That's everything. Peace out, y'all.